Hello and welcome back to the Motorsport Baithak podcast. I'm your host Didi. Joining me today once again is my friend and your co-host Vedant. On this episode, we'll be talking about the Indycar season opener that took place in St. Petersburg, Florida last weekend. So let's grab some chai, take our seats, ready our opinions, and dive right into the conversation. Now, Vedant, you haven't been an avid IndyCar fan for some time. This was your first race in a long time. Obviously, there was the season break, but how was your experience? I know you texted me towards the end of the race how exciting, how excited you were. But for a fan, for someone who does not follow IndyCar so much, how was it to finally tune into one of these races?
I mean, it was incredible. The racing is good. I mean, it's close racing. There's always something or the other going on around the field. Uh, the the pit stop strategies are very interesting as well because I think St. Pete was 100 laps and we had two or three stoppers, right? So again, that did shake up the order with the cautions and all that. But I think overall, as a racing fan, as someone who did not watch IndyCar at all, I watched a few races last year, including the 500 and maybe Long Beach or some other races. I think I watched Laguna Seca as well. But I think in the end, as a basically a new fan to IndyCar, but a dedicated motorsports fan, it was incredible. It was just what I wanted to watch at 12:30 a.m.
Absolutely nothing better to wake you up than a good dose of racing. Let's jump into the three things to talk about from the IndyCar season opener at St. Petersburg, Florida. Now, obviously, the title championship looks poised to be exciting from the get go, and that is our first thing that we want to talk about. Mega start for Team Penske after a disappointing 2021 season, and Alex Palou picks up where he left off in 2021 after Chip Ganassi's early struggles. You have to give it up for Scott McLaughlin. What a win! What an emotional post-race celebration. But I think our listeners need to know who Scott McLaughlin is because he's not one who came from Formula One. He's not one who came from Formula E. He's not someone who came from WEC or IMSA. He's a man from down under, and it seems he'll be the next Scotty Dixon to dominate. The next man from down under to dominate the world of IndyCar. What can you tell us about Scott McLaughlin, Vedant?
Well, Scott McLaughlin, he did the last round in 2020 at St. Pete itself. And that weekend, he had just finished and won at Bathurst 1000. So he got out of the V8 supercar, got in a flight, got to Florida, and just went into an IndyCar basically without much thinking, I guess. Because, and I mean, it was a seamless transition for him because his team in the Supercars Championship was also Penske sponsored. So that was one thing. But Scott McLaughlin is a Supercars legend. He won 3 titles back to back in
Consecutively.
18, 19, 20. Yes, he was third in championship in 2016 and second in 2017. So he was just building up to that. But for me, the most impressive thing is that he came from cars. He came from stock cars, right? Just like Jimmy Johnson has done, but he has done it much more successfully.
Yep.
Because when single seater drivers come to IndyCar or change series here and there, they know what they are doing. Even with sports car drivers, the basic dynamics and the basic aerodynamics and all these things are relatively similar. We always see IMSA drivers and IndyCar drivers, like drivers doing IMSA and IndyCar both, and we see drivers doing WEC and Formula E both. But I have never seen someone go from V8 supercars, stock car racing, straight to IndyCar and be successful because his rookie season was not bad. He was
Yep.
P2 in Texas and P4 at the Gateway. And Texas is a motor speedway. He had never raced
It's
on a
an
motor
oval.
speedway
Yep.
before. Yeah.
Yep, it's an oval. And he finished P14 and won the rookie of the year
Yeah,
at the end of the year.
absolutely. I mean, incredible season last year and incredible start to the season this year.
Yep, absolutely. And his family was obviously watching from New Zealand, and they couldn't have had a better start to a Monday. But it was very emotional, and it's not an easy task to hold back the reigning champion Alex Palou
Alex below, yeah.
in P2 for over 15 laps towards the end of the race. No easy feat there. Alex Palou was breathing down his neck, and Scott McLaughlin had to navigate traffic for the last 5-6 laps. But yeah, definitely a great season opener, and we saw the top five, top six filled with all different teams. Obviously, Penske took the 1-3 with Will Power rounding off the podium places. Alex Palou for Chip Ganassi Racing in P2. Chip Ganassi had a slow start to the weekend, but Alex Palou, Scott Dixon, and Marcus Ericsson had a decent race after that. But another big story was Rinus VK, who finally turned it around in the Ed Carpenter racing car after his mid-season injury last year. He had a great first half of the season. Won his first race in Indianapolis, I think, and then had a really terrible season after his collarbone injury midway through the season. And again, Romain Grosjean having a successful first outing with Andretti. And obviously, all of this is, to showcase the point that this title championship looks poised from the get-go. I can't wait for the next, I think, 16 races, and they couldn't come faster here. Hopefully, I'll go see one of the races in person this year, like I did last year. But I don't know which one it is going to be. Probably Road America in Wisconsin, but we'll see when it comes to it. Jumping to the second thing we want to talk about today about. Second thing we want to talk about from last weekend is that the rookies show impressive pace. Now, they didn't light it up. There wasn't an outstanding performance per se, but all the rookies had, a good outing last weekend. Christian Lundgaard was the highest finishing rookie in P11 for Reha Letterman Lanigan Racing as they expanded their operation to 3 cars from 2. And Kyle Kirkwood, the Indy Lights champion from last year, advanced to round 2 of qualifying for AJ Foyt Racing. Obviously, Kyle Kirkwood had Sebastian Bourdais in the pits to support him throughout the weekend, which was a welcome sight to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Indycar field is so talented, and even the rookies, and even like last year we saw Romain Grosjean. He's not a rookie in sports as such, but he was a rookie in IndyCar, and Scott McLaughlin. So the rookies, the IndyCar rookies, always can also do a lot of damage to the established drivers and established teams. So, and obviously we know Christian Lundgaard, we know his potential. He could not realize it in Formula 2 because of various different reasons, but we know his potential and we know what he can do. There's also Callum Aylett. He did not have a particularly good or memorable weekend as such, but then again, not every weekend is memorable. But
Yeah, but
we know
you also have to
he
remember that Callum is racing for a one-car operation. Junkers Hollinger Racing, and it's not easy. It's a new operation, so they will take time to get up to speed. But he did show good race pace, and then obviously we had Tatiana Calderon and a couple other rookies on the field. So it's going to be an interesting season to see which rookie comes out on top at the end of the year to win the rookie of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a pretty exciting season, as it always is. So,
Absolutely. But, going back to Scott McLaughlin, one thing we forgot to mention was the stats. Obviously, Scott McLaughlin was comparing himself to Alex Palou's season. Alex Palou won the IndyCar Championship in his second season. And Scott McLaughlin has had a similar start to Alex Palou. One stat to mention is that Alex Palou won the first race last year and went on to win the championship, and Scott McLaughlin is following in the same footsteps, and it'll be great to see another man from down under go on to win the IndyCar championship like Scott Dixon has so many times.
yeah, absolutely. Scott McLaughlin winning the IndyCar Championship, or even being in the top 4, top 5 throughout the season, is going to be a great story, because like basically every IndyCar champion or strong like the lead runners have raced in IndyCar for a long time. Scott McLaughlin has had to change his entire driving style, his entire thought process behind racing to get into IndyCars, and after a long time, because as I said, he's already a supercars legend. He is not like he did not step into from IndyCar in his youth years as such. He's already an established racer, so it's going to be very interesting how Scott McLaughlin tackles this year.
Absolutely, absolutely. And obviously, we had the usual names in the top 10, Scott Dixon, Pat O'Ward wasn't in the top 10, but he had a good, he was one of the two people who made the three-stop strategy work. And Colton Herta, Graham Rahal, and so on. But the third thing coming out of this weekend at St. Petersburg was watching IndyCar on TV continues to be painful, and for two reasons, for me at least. Two reasons: too many unnecessary advertisements. Uh, you know, I just can't. I have a solution for this though. Obviously most of the advertisements that they show during the IndyCar broadcast is of sponsors who are already in IndyCar. So why not just keep on showing the race broadcast, but have a banner or something. Suppose it's Carvana, right? The Carvana advertisement is going on. So instead of doing the whole Carvana ad, you just have Jimmy Johnson's car, on the television and have a Carvana banner at the bottom of the screen. This will satisfy both your advertisement requirements and fans like me who just want to watch racing and not the advertisements in a 2 hour race for 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, like I guess this was one of the things that never got me to IndyCar because it's painful. It's very very painful to watch IndyCar.
Especially when the racing is so good, like you're missing
Exactly.
out on it for no reason at all, in my
Exactly.
opinion.
I mean, show me all the ads you want in the French Grand Prix before 2021. That is, but yeah, it's very painful to watch it in IndyCar.
Yup. And the second thing about this was, NTT is a big organization. They've done good things, but the timing tower and all the information during the broadcast update is really really slow. By the time they update the stuff on the broadcast, we already know where the cars are. It's that slow. So hopefully NTT do something to make that process a bit faster. I don't know if it's NTT and NBC or how that works. But whatever it is, the timing tower needs to update much faster than it does currently. It is definitely a bit exhausting when you're trying to figure out what has happened throughout the field, and the timing tower is still updating from what happened 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, that is. I think a that is bad because the technology that NTT obviously has and the technology that every other racing series now has. I mean, even VEC and even IMSA, even junior series like what have you, Formula Regional Asia or whatever, they do a good job for updating the data. So
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully they can get on top of it.
Yep, and it's the slowest when cars are coming out of their pits
Yeah.
after pit stop. You
Yeah.
can it's an eternity before anything updates on where the car is on the timing tower. But regardless, it was an exciting weekend of racing, and these things will have to be sorted out. Obviously, um, we just want to watch more racing as fans, and anything that comes in the way of it is pretty annoying. But I'm looking forward for the rest of the IndyCar season. Vedanta, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously from like last year was a trailer for me. I watched, as I said, a few races and I enjoyed them thoroughly. So I'm really looking forward to having this year, and with Scott McLaughlin potentially having a good year, with Roman Grosjean in Andretti potentially having a good year, and with Pat O'Ward, the new fan favorite as such in McLaren and all these things. It's going to be a great year for IndyCar in terms of racing, obviously, but in terms of fan engagement as well, I believe.
Yep, yep. Now, before we close out this podcast, one last thing I would like to mention is I think I saw a recent interview of Mario Andretti by David Land, and Mario Andretti said that their F1 deal with Renault goes beyond just F1. It seems like they'll be Renault and Andretti will be fielding a sports car team sometime soon. So keep your eyes out for that. Andretti is obviously looking to expand a lot more than their current operation, then it's a very exciting time for American motorsport fans. But that's all from our side on this podcast. Thank you so much, Vedant, for joining me once again. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and we'll catch you on the next one.